The civilized people are concerned with dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. In the beginning, there is dharma, religion, then artha, economic development, kama, sense gratification, then moksha, merging into the Supreme One. Often the word moksha is used by the people with the idea that one goes beyond the cycle of birth and death to merge into Brahman, to become one with God. The living entity can never lose his identity, even if he enters Brahman. He remains in that metastable state for a long time and falls back to the material world in want of association and activity. The material world is an unstable place for the living entity where he wanders, and the spiritual world is the stable place for the living entity, where he is situated in his natural constitutional position of being a servant of the Supreme Lord. In his supreme abode, the Supreme Lord has no rival. Those who want to become rivals are placed in this material world under the conditions of material nature. In the spiritual sky, there is no rivalry, and all the inhabitants therein are liberated souls. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 5 kinds of liberation: sayujya, sarupya, salokya, sarsti, and samipya. A pure devotee does not desire ekatva, oneness with the Supreme Lord, as desired by the impersonalists, the mental speculators, and the meditators. Such ekatva, or merging into the effulgence of the Supreme Lord, is called kaivalya. But the happiness derived from kaivalya is considered by the pure devotee to be hellish, because there is no service there except peace. Out of the 2 possibilities of merging in transcendence, namely becoming one with the impersonal Brahman, effulgence, and becoming one with the personality of Godhead, the latter is more abominable to the devotee. The devotee is so fond of rendering service to the Supreme Lord that the 5 kinds of liberation are not important to him. The Supreme Person, in his different plenary expansions, lives on innumerable Vaikuntha planets, and the chief planet is Krishna Loka. Just as within the material universe, the chief planet is the sun, in the spiritual world, the chief planet is Krishna Loka. From Krishna Loka, the bodily effulgence of Lord Krishna is distributed not only to the spiritual world, but to the material world as well. In the spiritual world, there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets, and on each one the Lord is the predominating deity. a devotee can be promoted to one such Vaikuntha planet to live with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In sarsti liberation, the opulence of the devotee is equal to the opulence of the Supreme Lord. Samipya means to be a personal associate of the Supreme Lord. In sarupya liberation, the bodily features of the devotee are exactly like those of the Supreme Person, but for 2 or 3 symptoms found exclusively on the transcendental body of the Lord. A pure devotee does not accept these 5 kinds of spiritual existence, even if they are offered, unless there is opportunity for service to the Supreme Lord. And he certainly does not hanker after material benefits, which are all insignificant in comparison with spiritual benefits. When Prahlad Maharaja was offered some material benefit, he stated, "My Lord, I have seen that my father achieved all kinds of material benefits, and even the demigods were afraid of his opulence. But still, in a second, you have finished his life and all his material prosperity." For a devotee, there is no question of desiring any material or spiritual prosperity. He simply aspires to serve the Lord. That is his highest happiness.